sure something will come up organically. Uh, Depending on who's on, I don't know if anyone has tried Tanner's double overhand deadlift challenge.
No, I haven't.
I haven't jumped in on that, but that looks
I
like fun.
I did it on like my deadlift accessory, so I did it with RDLs.
Oh,
10 reps is technically an RDL anyway. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
If you're doing more than 3, it's RDLs. Welcome, everybody, to episode 111 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. The podcast hosted by crew, for crew, by crew, mocked by crew, and often not recorded properly by crew. Tonight I have Big Gary on my left. Oh, he's muted, so he's
Shalom,
not going to introduce
hello.
himself.
Big Gary here.
Joey, why are you
I
muted?
saw Joey muted, so I muted myself.
oh, I muted just because I was worried I'd have background noise, but I'm also here. The other big.
The International League of Joeys, as heard in the pre-show. All right. Anybody got anything cool they're wearing?
I have the Inez Carrasquino Dominator shirt. Came in this week from the Arnold.
For a while, I thought it said the Jobinator, and I was so confused.
I was hoping it said the Burninator.
Condor.
Got it.
In the people.
I've got the Massonomics Smoke Tee, which is a pretty comfortable t-shirt. It's one of my few like gray instead of black shirts.
Is it beefy?
I think this one is on the beefy blank. I can't actually remember which ones are on which blank anymore.
Do you guys remember when Mick Foley did the ravioli, the Chef Boyardee commercials?
Yes.
Beefy. And he was just eating just loads of sodium-laced, heartburn-inducing raviolis.
My first job was at a CVS, and I was too stupid to pack a lunch, so I would just grab like a shelf-stable Chef Boyardee ravioli, and then like a bag of chips or something like that, and eat that in the break room for my lunch.
I didn't grow up without things, but like we didn't grow up in a lavish lifestyle, so I often ate a lot of Chef Boyardee as a kid, and like to this day, like I look forward, like if we're shopping and it's on sale, I'm stockpiling Chef Boyardee. But the heartburn, like I'll wake up in the middle of the night with full on acid reflux because the red sauce they use has so much tannins and stuff in them that I'm just like, and then I don't learn my lesson and I do it again like a week later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Savings you can taste.
Over and over and over again. Oh, geez. Anybody got anything cool they're drinking? As Joey takes a drink.
I have a Waterloo Huckleberry Cobbler co-branded with Guy Fieri Flavor Tau.
Damn, that's cool.
I bought this because I thought it was just ridiculous, and it's actually delicious.
I mean, it's Flavor Town, right? So of course it's delicious.
Exactly.
All right. No, I don't have anything cool. I'm drinking water and Keith's as usual. All right. Should we go over last week's Massonomics episode?
Yes.
All right. So mostly machine-based, about machines.
Get to the wallet.
Yeah, they get to the wallet.
Yeah, get to the wallet.
Oh, it's been so long now. Like a new episode's going to drop as we record, so I can barely remember anything.
I'm trying to, because I watched it and I made like 3 different comments because they asked for us to comment as many times as possible. But now I'm blanking on what I said.
Something about timestamps, hopefully.
It's mostly a timestamp podcast now.
Yes, it's 50% cottage cheese, 25% timestamps. Well, what's your rating there, Joey? Do you have one?
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. Huckleberry Cobbler. Welcome to Flavortown, Waterloo.
I do remember laughing a lot, especially with all of the Arnold. What is that clicking?
Oh, is that that might be my headset. Let me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just interested in how it's doing it because that was so like constant. Anyway, yeah, the whole talk about machine gyms, machine home gyms, or machines in the home gym, or whatever you want to, however you want
Yeah,
to
the
reference
rise of
that. As somebody who has 0 machines in there, I don't even have a basic pulley. Like, I don't have anything in there that could be remotely described as a machine other than myself. I'm gonna go ahead
Do you
and
have a
give
landmine?
yes. Does that's a
Technically a
machine?
machine. It's a simple machine. It's a lever.
I mean, it's not a gym machine. It is a simple machine. All right. Also, basically, so am I. So, um, gonna go ahead and give it a 5 out of 5 landmines.
I would give
Ryan,
it 5 out of 5 neon green prime pop pins.
all right, Prime. I wish I knew more about that. I guess I need to be on more pre-shows.
I'm all
Yeah,
about the
yeah, that's
pre-show.
the big push right now. Is I think we need to break the 36 some odd people for the pre-show, so we can get the grease on Prime Fitness, the interaction with Massonomics.
Well, eventually, Jeff needs to get on the pre-show.
Yeah.
I see Ryan in the waiting room. I assume he's just decided not to be on this episode.
Does he have to be let out of the waiting room? I
No,
don't know how any of this
no,
works.
he's just joined unmuted. This is essentially a party cast. Like I put it out there to everybody and maybe a possible special guest. So this is essentially a party cast. But Ryan, thank you for changing your name this time. There he is. You're allowed to unmute and contribute, my friend.
Okay.
Now that you have privilege.
Yeah.
How's it
Okay.
going?
All right. Everybody, welcome Big Ryan. This is a Ryan, I think.
Hey, Ryan.
One of the
One of the
Ryans.
Ryans.
Oh my, I'll never forget that. Oh no. What you're not on video. Anyway, so we were talking about the new meme, Randy. Randy, does anybody want to give the breakdown so my voice isn't the only one on this podcast all night?
Ding, 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 ding.
I can give the breakdown.
Yeah, hit me.
So Tanner posted I think it was a reel of one of his double overhand deadlift sets. I think maybe in this one he switched over to straps towards the end because he was reaching his limit. And good old Randall decided that he had nothing better to do than to put someone down for lifting weights. So he posted a comment along the lines of, "The deadlift isn't a real lift. That's for people that are overweight and have ponytails." I guess a dig at Tanner's hair, and everyone just started piling on and like making sarcastic replies. Some people just like called him out directly. Uh, I the next day I posted my deadlift video and I said, "Forgive me, Randall, for I have deadlifted." And then the next day, or maybe a couple days later, I posted again doing some bench and said that that was the penance that Randall had bestowed upon me for deigning to deadlift.
Yeah, he said something like really like deadlifts aren't cool. That was my favorite part. Deadlifts are not cool. It's just for fat people who don't look good. And let me know when you can bench 405 or something like that.
Yeah, that'll be far more impressive when you can bench 405.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, but Tanner can. And yeah, just dummies on the internet. There's just always dummies on the internet. So he's become a meme.
Yep.
Yep. Good for him. I think I've also adopted deadlifts are not cool as my motto because I love deadlifting.
that could be like the new merch drop. is like a line of like gym gloves, like the prison tattoo, like deadlift.
Because he did it. Because every time he typed it, it was in 2 words.
Yeah.
Dead lifts are not cool. Like, dude, Ryan, are you
Like
playing video
custom
games
belt.
while you talk to us?
I am.
Yeah, I can tell. Like your hands are in your lap and you're staring at a screen.
With a Metroid Prime going.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Anybody
Metroid
watch?
Prime Fitness?
No,
That's what
not
I
Metroid
thought
Prime Fitness.
I was waiting for him to say it because I was like, all right, that's where Ryan's going with this.
Sam, let's get to the chopper.
Did anybody watch the Efren YouTube, the 46-minute video?
I have watched it.
I did not. I can't do long form YouTube.
I started watching it. I got about halfway through, but it's one that I actually want to pay attention to because normally for the longer stuff, I'll just like put it on in the background while I lift and stuff. But with that one, I actually want to see the plates, and I mean, he's got an impressive collection.
46 minutes is like an episode, though. Like that's almost a movie.
It's a backlog episode for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like curated stuff. It's like he has a museum in his garage essentially, and they just kind of walk the perimeter, walk the floor in the 46-minute one, and then I think it was Thursday or Friday, they released another one of just the plates, like his favorite plates, and that one's like 35 minutes or something. So it's just 2 really long videos.
Yeah.
They must have been there for hours.
Yeah.
He was saying that one of those plates was like $15,000 or $20,000,
Yeah.
like per pair. That's just insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for plates.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day
Go with the plain ones.
my I was gonna say my neoprene plated tri grips. Maybe one day. Yeah, that's pretty much the Massnomics related stuff. I know that on the original episode, I had a few things I wanted to talk about, and I think one of them was naps. How do you guys feel about naps? Because, God, I love a good nap. And I can go down for half an hour to an hour and wake up refreshed and ready to go. But apparently, I'm like, that's not normal for people.
Not for me. If I go and I nap, chances are I'll sleep for a half an hour or an hour, but I'll just feel groggier when I wake up. The one exception is if I'm sick, then I will just spontaneously go down, like fall asleep and nap, and I'll feel a million times better when I wake up.
Yeah, I second that. That's been my experience with naps. And the funny thing with like the Aura ring is like it senses when you fall asleep or whatever. And so like the travel to like Sioux Falls or whatever, I fell asleep on the plane, and you wake up and you open the app and it's like, oh, did you nap? Yes or no? And it's like, yes, I did nap. And then it boosts your like recovery score and stuff like that. And then it also does like an annual review of like your highlights of like what you did in the year or whatever, like how far you walked or like how your average sleep score or something like that. And the thing that always gets me is like the number of naps you took in the year, and it's always like 2 or 3, and it's like I really need to work on that.
Oh man, like mine would be like once a week, all the time. If it's my day off, I'll get home, and like we'll do everything in the morning, right? So I'll have my lift, and then we'll go do our shopping. And by 2:00, I'm like, nope, shutting her down, and I'll just have a full on lay down. Right. And sometimes it's half an hour, like I said, an hour. But I don't wake up groggier. Like, I think the one on Thursday, I woke up, saw the time, and I knew my son was going to be home on the bus. And I was just like up and outside within seconds. So maybe I'm just like I said, I'm an anomaly and I just love naps.
If I don't actually fall asleep and I just kind of like sit in a recliner or even lay down but stay awake the whole time, I usually feel better. But if I actually fall asleep, and I don't know if it's because I just wake up during like the wrong cycle of sleep or what it is, but an actual fall asleep nap does not do good for me most of the time.
Mofo is here. He was on the episode that we lost, so he's heard a lot of this already. Are you joining us there, my friend?
Yeah, I'm just getting set up.
All right. Because right now would be the time where I would have you read the ad, but you're not set up yet. Speaking of ads, I did want to. I mentioned it on Thursday, and I'll mention it again today. AI ads grind my knurling. Right when they do that stupid voice, the
Yeah.
voice,
The
Oh,
and
TikTok
it's always the
voice.
same.
yeah, and I just don't understand. Like, I understand why for algorithm reasons and for the ease of use reasons, but it's like it's so impersonal and it's so ubiquitous. I I, I just want to start unfollowing every company that makes them. Right, even if they're companies I support. If you do an AI ad, now I say this out loud, and Tanner's going to do one just to spite us. But yeah, I'm unfollowing people that do that on purpose. It's ridiculous. I think that voice in general pisses me off. That
Yeah.
TikTok voice.
Way
Oh, I
overused.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. And I think somebody pointed out
Not a
Bells of
fan.
Steel did it.
Yeah.
Yes. They have a bunch of ads with that.
Like,
Pisses
why?
me off.
Why?
Because you don't have to pay someone like for their time to donate
They
their
have
voice.
good they have good social media people
Yeah,
though.
like
They
you're
can just
literally
do their
paying
own
a social.
voiceovers.
Yeah, get a small microphone and talk directly into your device, and you don't need to do that. Like, you already wrote the copy. What's stopping you from just reading it? But I think it's because that voice does trigger something in the algorithm to bring it to people, and I think the biggest money makers on TikTok are people that just use that. Like, they literally just get up and they download some Minecraft footage and they do like an AI chat GPT and they throw it in there with the voice, and those people rake in like thousands of dollars a day.
Well, yeah, because it's just such low hanging fruit. Like you can produce thousands of those videos, so you just have a page full of those, and the chances of someone clicking on at least one goes up exponentially. And
Yeah.
so if you have a bunch of that like slop content, you get a lot of eyes on it, and so that's going to bring in the revenue. And that's, I think, part also why they use that text to speech voice, because like they could have their social media person or whatever make like 30 of those ads in one day and post them, and so that gets a lot of viewership
And then
with relatively low effort.
follow for part two.
Yeah.
A related format that I hate is the ones that shows like a random clip from a TV show or a movie, and then instead of having any of the audio from it, they have someone like describing it, but it's always like a man met a woman in a coffee shop, and it's
Yeah.
just like the most inane description ever, and it's clearly just like an AI description. It's yeah.
Dang.
What?
The one of that I've been getting a lot of joy is it's like the thumbnail will be a clip from a show or whatever, and then like the text is like, I couldn't believe this happened, like the one simple trick kind of thing, and then the person's face is like the YouTube thumbnail thing, like, and it's like, it took me 30 years to figure out this one scene from King of the Hill or whatever, and it's like, you weren't even alive when the show was on the air.
100%.
All right. Aaron, are you here now?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. I believe you have an ad read for us.
Absolutely. So this episode's brought to you by ChatGPT. Just kidding. All right. This episode is brought to you by the Grip Strength Challenge that's sweeping the nation. The Masonomics Texas Power Bar 28.5 millimeter double overhand, no straps, no hook grip set of 10 deadlifts from the floor challenge. The fine folks at Masonomics want everyone to try this challenge, even if you think deadlifts are not cool and for ugly and overweight dudes. My advice is to bulk up on cottage cheese, throw down a horse stall mat, slap some strength co plates on your Texas Power Bar, and hold your own in memory of the 29 souls lost in the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. If you think you can slam a fair amount of weights in this challenge, post it on Instagram and be sure to tag Masonomics at Masonomics and Randy at Gats Randy. That's GATZ Randy.
Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy, for everything you've given us. You're
We
going in the
appreciate
Hall of
it,
Fame
Randall.
you're going in the Hall of Fame with Brian. That dude about the quads that I ripped on for a couple days. And
Cody.
Cody, yeah. Man, all their names are the same, eh? Brian, Randy, Cody, Gabe. All right. So we do have a couple questions submitted by crew to get this going. All right. One of them was speculate wildly on what we think the mystery event at the Lift Hard, Live Easy Strongman is going to be. I do know that I've been asked for some stickers that I have yet to ship out, but I do have a while to do that because, as I was told, the DILF dungeon deserves representation. Actually, I showed somebody a video of me lifting at work the other day, and they started dying. They're like, "What's the DILF dungeon?" And I was like, "Oh no."
God, I like to follow.
Yeah, Dad, I'd like to follow. Yeah. I was like, it's just a joke. Anyway, we're building trophy husbands. So what do you guys think this is going to be? Like, is it going to be a big penis? Is it going to be another shield?
I mean, my mind always goes back to horse stall mat drag.
Mm-hmm.
Just load up 20 horse stall mats and you gotta move them however you want, 50 feet or something.
Do you think it'd be a horse stall mat deadlift where they, instead of the car, they just load up as many of those and you have to leverage
Yes.
deadlift those?
That would be awesome.
Oh, he's going to be so mad if I'm right. He's going to listen to this episode and be like, "You son of a bitch, you keep that to yourself."
How about like a refrigerator drag? Like a refrigerator full of cottage cheese and LaCroix. And just
That's
covered
a
in
good one.
crew stickers.
Actually, I'm really enjoying this idea of horse stall mats. No offense, Gary.
That's good. That's good.
Well, you know how at the world's hold on. Like I'm going here now. So you know how sometimes at the World's Strongest Man or even the Arnold, where like you'll do a deadlift or a squat and then a keg will fall in. Like, what if it's that but horse stall mats? And like they keep just like it's elevated horse stall mat lifts until like you can't do anymore.
That would be amazing.
And I feel
don't
like
know.
it would be easy to do, but hard to do at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like the videos of Brian showing how they build those machines for like the keg versions. I have to imagine there would be a little bit of engineering into to one, even if it's
It
just
would
horse
just be
stall mats.
Jake on a pickup truck. He's
like,
got two other people to help him pick it up and throw it on.
You have
Oh,
like two platforms going, so you're adding a horse stall to one while they're lifting on the opposite one, and they
Yep.
just have to keep going back and forth.
Oh, that would be really funny. And I
That's
hope
actually three things simultaneously. You got one guy in the middle that is a part of the competition that's, swinging horizontal mats back and forth. And then you got two guys that are also like lifting as part of their, part of the competition. And then once you get to a certain point, they like rotate and then you got to pull them off and then go back and do that again.
I do think the guy swinging the horse stall mats has it the hardest.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll deadlift before I'll lift more horse stall mats. All
Have you
right.
tried using a ratchet strap and rolling it up?
Oh, geez. No, actually, I was funny. I think the one time I was at one of the meets and they sent me and this other guy, also named Joey, and they're like, "Can you just go and grab us some horse stall mats?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So him and I are trying the clips and we're carrying them across the parking lot. And we're like, "That's not working." So we try rolling it up and carrying it across the parking, and that doesn't work. And he just goes, "I'm fucking done with this." And he rolls it up and throws it on his shoulder. And he's like hunched over. And this dude is giant and jacked. And he's just, I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's just like, "Just get the door, man. Just get the door." Like, it was ridiculous how silly that was. That's why my gym is quarter horse stall mats. I have the small interlocking ones that are the same thickness, same concept, same material, but they're easier to move because they are quarters.
So long as it's the rubber and not the foam tiles, I think you're golden.
Yeah, they are rubber. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Because most horse stall mats are usually made in Canada, so I just got those, but they cut them in interlocking puzzle things because I'm not carrying those down to the basement. F that. All right. So, what do I want to ask next? I should have sent this to you guys so you guys could also help me with these. I might do that while you guys talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Well, I was going to add one thought to the mystery carry. What if it's a giant like goose? Just a giant silly goose.
That would be fun.
We do have one of those here in oh god, I forgot the name of the city already. It was on the way home from the Lift Hard Live Easy.
Oh, those are just your wild geese that are out there.
Yeah, but there's a
Yeah,
city
no one's trying to carry those.
the city that built a giant statue. Steve and I went and saw it. I'll never remember the name of that.
Is it a Keith-sized statue of a goose?
As in, like, New York's the biggest state? Mm-hmm.
While Joey's going through notes, I had a question for everyone else that's on. So has anyone besides Gary ever live streamed their workout to Instagram? Because I caught one of Gary's live streams maybe a week or so ago and was just curious if anyone else has tried this.
No. I'm pretty boring for that, so.
Well, the beauty is you don't have to be interesting. You just turn on the camera and go.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a lot of me dancing in between sets, followed by swearing at my phone in between sets. And I feel like that's not going to attract a huge crowd.
Talking to myself and inappropriate gestures and
constantly peeing. Speaking of that, I'm going to go pee in a minute.
For me, it just be a
hasn't
lot of
been-
sitting around. Oops, sorry, what was that?
I was just going to say the viewership hasn't been high. It's usually like one or two guys that are in there for maybe like 30 minutes and then they log off. But yeah, it's sitting around between sets, and I'll turn the camera around to where they can see my face, and I'll just talk to them. They're chatting or whatever in the discussion, and I reply, and then hit a set and come back and sit down again. It's definitely not entertaining to most people.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the allure. I don't think that's why people are joining.
And you just hear in the background, 30 seconds remain, like constantly. I don't think that would get on everybody's nerves.
The one I did Friday, I just had the Natty Anthem playing the entire like 2 hours.
As is custom. Yep, as is custom.
I was looking for that song to put on like a reel or something
It's
like
not
that.
a
And I
sound
couldn't
yet.
find. Yeah, it's not a sound in Instagram.
No.
I was
Yeah.
so bummed. I had the perfect thing. Could not use it.
Oh yeah, believe me, I looked. It's on Apple Music, so my kids know it well enough now. Because every time we get in the car, I'll put it on.
Yeah, I just had it on YouTube, and it's like associated with the Rich Piana 8-hour arm workout, apparently. Or at least
Oh,
that's
is that what it's from? That's cool.
That's the video I had, because it was like an 8-hour version or something of that song, so you could do it along to the workout. But
is that Natty Anthem that old? Like I remember watching those, or his like 8-hour video like a long time ago.
I guess I don't know.
I feel like when they played it after the whole Juji thing, is the first time I ever heard the Natty Anthem.
Yeah, that was the first time I heard it.
They gave, I don't remember, it must have been on the recap episode, but they talked about a little bit of the history of it and where it came from, but I don't remember what video. Like it was definitely like a YouTube kind of personality, but I don't remember them saying it was Rich Piana.
Did they do that recap like while it was playing? Because there was just like a good 5 minutes where I couldn't hear anything that Tanner or Tommy were saying.
It was
And
really
I was
hot
just
on the
like,
board.
I really hope this is a bit, because if this is like the rest of the episode, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, they did that multiple times. I was like, I can't hear anything you guys are saying.
Yeah, they blasted that every time they do it, which is fine and hilarious. I love it. I did send you guys a screenshot there in the Discord. So if any of these questions spark that you want to ask somebody else in this call, this is pretty much the equivalent of a party cast, because I have no plans. I have no goals, no friends, no love, no money, no gains, no abs, no quads, no calves. That's actually the most painful one. No calves. My calves are okay.
Oh,
I do like
I got all that.
I do like the one, and I actually think, yeah, you go ahead. Maybe you'll ask the one I was thinking.
I was going to ask one that was asked during the missing episode, because I don't think anyone here was there for that. So it's an FMK, and we can have Big Brad, Big Joey, and Big Ryan answer it. And it's so FMK, big traps, 6-pack abs, or big biceps.
I'll jump in first. right away, I'm just killing 6-pack abs. That does nothing for me. It doesn't help any of my lifts. I don't need that. I'm gonna marry big traps because that's gonna help pretty much everything. It's gonna help your squat. It's gonna help your deadlift. Maybe not your bench so much. And then I'll F with some big biceps. I like getting a bicep pump after a good workout.
That was exactly my answer.
Yeah.
That was
Logic.
exactly my answer when you were. Okay, yeah. Anybody else want to answer that one? I have a different answer.
I go with Mary big biceps and then F with some big traps.
Oh,
Gotta go with the gun show.
Now, why would
You know
I was say why would you marry them over traps?
what's that? Oh, I
So
don't
why would
know.
you marry the biceps over traps? Just to be different.
Yeah.
I think it sort of like identifies what strength or physical culture like background you have, because it's like the three different tropes. Like, are you super aesthetic, or are you like a strong man, or are you just like a curl bro? Like, which one of these things are you? Like, which one are you gonna marry?
Where do lats
Yeah,
come
because
in?
any like. Mhm.
Does anybody
I think-
ever pay
you don't-
attention to their lats? Because I do all the time. I love when I have a pump and I'll just walk up to Morgan and I go, "Look at my wingspan."
Am I big yet?
If you have big traps,
Yeah.
though, I don't think you have to have big lats.
Yeah,
Like, there's no way you
they're
have one without the
connected.
other.
Yeah.
Jason,
Like
stay
big
back.
traps,
if
you're gonna
you
have a massive back.
I do enjoy having a big back for a little guy. I once heard that that's what women look for in a man, is how their shirt hangs off their back. I once heard that.
I believe that.
Yeah, is how, especially if he says he goes to the gym, that's usually the first thing I look at is how does his shirt hang off his back. And I never really understood that until I got lats and traps, and it's like, oh, now I see the difference. Yeah, like nice and loose.
I will say
I
the one
confirmed it real
time.
quick.
What was that?
Let me confirm that
Oh.
real quick with my wife.
Oh, there you go.
My wife.
I was just gonna say the one time that I feel like my biceps always look the best is when I'm doing a mixed grip deadlift, and that one bicep that's facing forward is just like, all right, I look pretty strong in that pose.
Yeah, that's always the struggle one too, right? Like, yeah, because
The
that's
one that might pop.
Yeah, that's the one you're gonna pop doing your mix grip.
That's why I hook.
What'd she say?
But she doesn't care.
Ah,
When she met me, I was 150 pounds, so wasn't much to show. So
you guys knew each other when you were 13?
18 or 19.
Did he have hair then?
I did. I did have hair then.
All go, no show.
He didn't.
Little flock of seagulls.
Did you?
Kind of.
I can see it.
Yep,
I'll
I can
have to
see it
find
too.
some
I want to
pictures.
see that now. Yeah, I want to see that now. That's going to be the picture for this episode.
Oh,
Me and
no.
Keith aren't even going to be in it. Just you in that flock of seagulls haircut.
Found a good one.
There was one that somebody asked, and I would actually put this differently. So the question was, if me and Keith switched lives, who would last longer? Okay. So I want to ask you guys that question. If me and Keith switched lives, who would last longer, or who would take the other one out?
100%. Oh, go. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. I would say on the surface level, like you would assume that Joey would last longer because going from that dad life to that dink life.
With all that spare
But-
time. I'm so
but-
busy.
I know with how passionately you love your kids, I don't think you could spend that much time away from them.
Yep.
So I think Keith might actually last longer because of that. I think Keith would actually be good with kids.
He is actually, and like so is Steph. They put up with, my kids showed up, It was dinner time. My kids were losing their minds, and they were great with kids. I would say you're right. I would miss my kids, but I think Keith would. Like if there was like a button where it was like who's gonna panic first, it would be Keith.
Oh yeah.
I think I agree with Joey on this. With how Keith feels about change of any kind. Like, forget changing lives. If he just woke up in a room he didn't recognize, I think he would hit that panic button.
Change, no.
It's not my spreadsheet.
Yeah. Yeah. What is this MacBook? How do I access my spreadsheets? Yeah. Um, I believe that is the overall consensus, but I really liked Aaron's different. Yeah, you're right. Like, I hate being away from my kids, and everything that takes me away from them does drive me insane. Um, I just kind of feel like Keith would tap first. Like the moment he had there's no quiet time, right? My quiet time is
Yeah.
my drive to and from work. And if I'm lucky, a beer after work because my wife says, go ahead and go out, right? That's my quiet time.
He doesn't stand a chance because his immune system just isn't prepared for the onslaught.
The onslaught. Oh my God. Plus, my work people are all sick too. And I'm just like, go away. Like, I'll work by myself all day if you just don't be here. Oh my God, stop being sick around me. Did anybody have a different answer? No. Nor.
How many Bluey episodes before Keith loses his mind?
I think Keith could stand to watch some Bluey episodes if I'm being upfront with you. It's like I've said it before, that show is geared towards kids, but it's made for parents. It really is. Do you guys think Keith and Nate will ever meet in real life?
Someday.
I think it'll happen by
And
accident.
They'll just run into each other at a mall. And like then neither of them will recognize each other. They'll both be recording a video. Right. And you're like, oh, look at us, we're at the mall. And one of us is gonna be like, is that Keith in the background of your picture?
That would be perfect.
That would be pretty funny. All right. Do you guys have anything there that you guys wanted to do? No.
I'm actually going to message Kevin for that other game that he did because we got a few people that weren't here.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Somebody did ask, and I know Aaron, you had a very good answer for this too. Would you ever go on TRT? Somebody asked me and Keith this, and I had said no unless my doctor told me to, and then I went off for a very good few minutes about influencers who are constantly obsessed with test. And I didn't mention any names, but I'll say it on this one. It's the Andrew Tate followers that are just utterly convinced that like mayonnaise and ketchup and alcohol are ruining your test. And I had said no, like unless I was told specifically by a doctor to do it, I wouldn't see a reason to do it. I'm not going to do it because of an influencer. I'm going to do it because of medical reasons. And that would be my answer. Right? As somebody, I think I mentioned as a short, balding, bearded, hairy back dude, I don't have a shortage of tats. My testosterone levels are fine. And I eat all the things that influencers say you shouldn't eat. So it's like, nah. But I do think that other people might have different answers.
I mean, I'm not sure where my levels are at, but if it was an issue, and I do have my share of issues, I would definitely consider it.
Mm-hmm.
But not just for the heck of it. Like, oh, I'm old, I need to be on TRT. I'm doing okay without it, I guess. So
Yeah, I think my answer is similar to Joey's. If my doctor said it was a really good idea, or I had a health condition pop up that TRT was a good treatment for, but I'm 43. I'm a lifetime intermediate. I'm not expecting to win any world records. I'm not expecting to push myself past what I can do. I'm still making progress. I'm still recovering, and even if that stops, I don't see any reason to go on TRT just because my lifts aren't lifting as good as they used to.
Or because I want to eat cheese.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
not opposed to it in any means. Like,
Me either.
it's just like I can't justify like what the benefit for me would be. Like, oh, my numbers would go up, but that still doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm not gonna become like a world level athlete at that point or anything. Like, nothing dramatically is going to change. Like the gym numbers will go up, and maybe some body comp changes or something like that. But outside of that, nothing is really going to change. And similar to what Joe is saying, like I'm 40 and like I'm kind of approaching the hump or over the hump. Like, it's not going to be like for aesthetic things. I'm not going to suddenly become an influencer where like looks matter.
Yep.
And I've made it this far in life without like supreme levels of exogenous hormones in my system. I think I'll be okay another 40 years.
And there's this one in particular, this one shirtless dummy in the grocery store. And like, I'm not going to sit here and make fun of somebody for who they are and how they look, but like, you're 19, you're hairless, you don't, let's not even talk hairline, you don't have a jawline. I'm not listening to you talk to me about test replacement, like of anything. Like, I'm 40, I'm an adult. I don't need to hear it from somebody like you. With all that said, Aaron, do you have a different perspective?
So I do. So I've been on TRT for about a year and a half. I did not go. I did, I followed the doctor route and stuff like that. Levels weren't low enough for insurance, but definitely were low enough to like affect daily life. Sleep, mood, metabolism. All the fun stuff. So tried numerous other things. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm just going to hop on TRT and this is going to fix everything that's wrong with me. But tried like other interventions. That's why I have a CPAP now. My diet's a lot better than it used to be. Still don't get enough sleep, but there's just not enough time in the day. I think it's just like every parent. But yeah, eventually got on it, and it's definitely improved everything, or improved things. It's not like you guys said, it's not world changing. Very, very like low dose, which that's what I've been happy about. They're not just like, all right, you're just gonna blast this, and like, no, I don't need to blast anything because I'm gonna have other bad things going on. Mm-hmm. And like for me, like I, back in like the almost 20 years ago, when pro hormones were coming out, I dabbled with those, and those basically what have led down the road to being like this too. So, but I have a reason to be lower.
Yeah, some very different perspectives there, and it's not like I said, not like some shirtless dummy in a grocery store told you that you're eating the wrong foods and therefore your test is affected, right? You went on it because it mattered and it helped, and I think that's the approach I look at most of this stuff. But I also hate the internet with a passion more than most people. Despite being relatively active on it, I do hate that. Somebody's going to say something there.
I was just asking Aaron, like, if he noticed a difference, like a market difference, before going on and now that he's been on it for about a year.
I would say the biggest difference for me is like body comps definitely like has improved. That coupled with the CPAP has definitely improved my sleep, the quality of sleep. So even if like I only get 6 hours of sleep, I at least feel better versus like I used to get like 9 hours of sleep sometimes before everything. And it felt like I was in a time machine. Like just closed my eyes, woke up 9 hours later, and I was still exhausted. So it's not as bad as it used to be. Obviously, there's still room for improvement, but like, and also like my daily calorie intake, it went from it being like barely 2,000, 2,100 calories a day to, usually around 3,000 now is my requirement. And I can maintain or even lose weight at that point. So that's been like the biggest thing for me.
That's a
now
big
is it administered? Is it like a androgel or what? Do you have to go in for like an injection? How is it administered?
I do subcutaneous injections.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
All right. So there we go. Oh, wait. Ryan, you going to say something? No, he's going to stay muted.
He's unmuting.
Okay.
I'm back.
He's back. Okay.
Just froze for a second.
Somebody did ask us, what will we do when we run out of people to interview? I don't remember our answer. Yeah, like there's 600 crew or something like that right now, and we're only on episode, whatever episode
111.
Yeah, 111, 700 and 715 or something like that.
And crew are a renewable resource,
That's it,
right? They're a new crew born every day.
They are a finite resource, and and even then, like sometimes I get guests on. Sometimes we get like people who aren't crew but are like crew adjacent or interesting to crew, right? Like I always have that, and I've said it before. There's not a lot of people we don't get access to, right? Like sometimes I'll just message Tanner and be like, "Yo, I want to talk to this person," and Tanner will send them a message, and Joey might message you or something like that. There's always room for those fun surprises, like we had, when we had Siri or we had Tyler or some of those bigger names. I did mention before I'm aiming for Meg Squats, but she won't answer any of my messages, which is fair because she probably gets 1,000 messages. But like, and she is supporting member, by the way. She is crew.
Oh,
Yep.
Well, she should definitely be on.
I know, and it's actually a race right now between me and Tanner. Because I know he wants her on, and I kind of want her on ours first. And he was like, she's
that would
crew.
be so funny.
And then I was like, well, we got to get her on. He's like, well, we're going to get her on. And I was like, I might race you to that, sir.
I want to ask a different version of that question.
Okay.
So if Tanner and Tommy decided to end the podcast, but they still kept up with like maybe posting YouTube videos, crew was still a thing, but the Massonomics podcast ended, do you think you would keep going with Unpaid and Underrated?
To an extent, I think we could and would, if I'm being honest. We just have too much fun, but it would be just how much are they going to continue the Discord? How much are they going to continue that? Because like the podcast, if I look at Massonomics, and they'll probably have a different assessment, and I'm sure Tommy could tell me all about it. The podcast is the content machine. Like the podcast is where half their inside jokes come from, and those jokes turn into shirts and horse stall mats and drink spotters and all of that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So I think that there would be a limit to what we could do just based on them selling merch and doing YouTube videos. I don't see a scenario in which the podcast goes away and the rest stays. I would see a scenario in which something else goes and the podcast stays. Right? Because the podcast, like I said, feeds the rest of the universe of Massonomics, the MCU, as I've called it. And I think as long as they have a podcast, we'll have a podcast. I don't think if Unpaid and Underrated ended, I would still podcast. I think that would be a very hard leap for me to take, is to do anything other than talk to you guys. Right? I don't see me doing a bro podcast or, anything like that. I've had people ask me to be on their podcast, and I kind of listen to one of their episodes. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to, I don't want to get on your Gym Bro podcast. Sorry, man, because I'm not one at all. Right? You want to talk to me and sit down and have a drink and ask me my tips to deadlift or my tips to squat or like, what do you eat? Like that. Yeah, we'll do that. But I'm not doing that into a microphone. Right? Because this is a performative concept. Right? The person I am talking to you right now, I am the most genuine I can be, but I'm not the same person if you're just sitting with me drinking a coffee. Or
that could be a fun spinoff, though, for you and you to start like a YouTube channel. It's like have a drink with Joey. It's you at a bar, or you at a coffee shop, and someone just sits down next to you and starts talking.
Yeah, but it would literally just be me going, "The fuck are you?" Like every episode is just me sitting at the bar by myself having a beer, and then somebody walks up with a camera and they're like, "Oh, I want to get your opinion on something," and me going, "Fuck off!" Like that would be the end of that because that's how I am in actual real life. Like I don't enjoy being approached by strangers.
Well, there you go. You could just have a series of
They-
Instagram reels off of that, and just have like the Larry David, the what's his show? Curb, the
Curb,
Curb like closing credit music after you say "fuck off."
I think
I
that
would
would.
subscribe to that Instagram.
I think it would take like it. I would have to live near everybody, so like that would probably be a better thing to happen at like Crew Falls, the Live Hard, Live Easy.
Yeah, just can a bunch of them.
Is just how many people can approach me to ask me my opinion about something without me telling them to fuck off. Like it's just like every member of crew coming up with their phone in my face. Joey, tell me about this.
I really like that answer. I think one of the biggest pieces of insight you had there was that this podcast is really a spin-off of the Discord.
Mhm.
But I think you're right that it would be hard to maintain the Discord without the Massonomics podcast.
Yeah, and that's weird to have a podcast based off of a Discord. Like that is kind of weird when you think about it. But yeah, that's what we are doing here, right? We were just interviewing people that join the Discord and want to have fun, and then occasionally bringing in strangers. Okay. No, I'm not answering that one. Mount Rushmore of Massonomics guests. Nah, I'm not doing that. Well, Aaron, you're still here?
Yep.
Okay, Aaron. If you could run your own business, what would it be?
So, yeah, I've had a couple thoughts about that. Not because I was able to hear this the other day, but I've thought about this in the past. I actually would like to own a gym, but I don't want it to be a business like where it's making money. I want it to be like Massonomics where it's self-sustaining.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a matter of like, oh, I want to run this because, I'm planning to live off of this or whatever. Like I want to have a facility that is of a decent size, has some badass equipment, and have enough members that it sustains and pays everything for itself. Covers the rent, which out here is insane, the insurance, all that stuff, and maybe a little bit of extra money to pay for like buying new equipment. I would want to pay for a staff because I'm not the type to go and clean up after people, so I'd rather pay for like cleaning crew and stuff like that. Another thing that I thought about, and I did do it a long time ago. Actually, won't really matter. I think I have one around here somewhere, but I actually had a clothing company back in 2006, 2005, which is like kind of before it started becoming a thing to do. Me and my buddies, we had I think 4 shirt designs, but we were just too broke to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was called what was it called? It was called For the Love. It was based around like art and music, though. But yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing back something like that. But I don't think it would be like lifting based or anything like that. It would just be. I think I'd want to go. It's like the like art route and whatnot, where it's more about like what the designs are, not fashion, because I don't really give a shit about that. But where like the designs on the shirts have like kind of like an abstract art on them and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because that's the stuff that I used to do.
You just kind of reminded me of all the lifestyle brands that literally just sell t-shirts with art on them. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, when every t-shirt is just a t-shirt, it's not fashion or an art or a lifestyle. Joey, what was your? Oh wait, are we gonna see one?
Yeah, I just happen to have it here.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay.
So it's actually This is the LA River,
Oh,
and then you
okay.
got a paint. I got a paint roller at the bottom. So one of my buddies is one that designed everything. I was kind of the money guy for a little while, and then we had this saying on the back: "Art is love, love is art."
Very
Very
nice.
nice.
That was with everything. So
Well, thank you for that. I was going to do some rapid fire. Joey, what was your favorite childhood cartoon?
My favorite was probably He-Man. Um, I loved He-Man. That was my jam.
Okay, that was a quick answer.
it's a
Uh,
rapid fire.
yeah, Ryan. What are the top things you're proud of?
Uh, my family got two great kids. My wife. My wife. um, outside of that, I don't know. Pass.
No, that was a good answer.
Let me think about that a little bit.
You know, like we were out last night for karaoke, and we met this really nice guy named Jared, and he was just talking about how hard it is for him to find a partner and how he wants kids and hasn't found the right person and everything. And I was there with Morgan, and like even I said, I was like, you know what, man, I did something right in my life to end up with that woman. And, as soon as I find out what it is, I'm gonna thank it because everything I've done, the man I've become, every person I've interacted with that has shaped me to the person I am. I now have an amazing wife and two kids I love, and I'm just in such a good position. So that's a really good answer because those are things to be proud of because not everybody can
Yeah.
get that, do that, and not everybody can appreciate that. There's lots of people out there that have kids and a wife or a husband that aren't proud of that. And it shows. So that was a really good answer. Gary. Something that you have to have on you every time you leave the house.
Uh,
Don't say penis, don't say penis, don't say penis, don't say penis.
I was thinking the obvious one was keys. But yeah, I guess I need my penis.
You can do that.
Detachable penis.
Some of us get detachable penis. Great song.
Uh,
You have to pick something that's not your phone, wallet, or keys.
yeah.
Oh, because my answer was phone. Because my phone is also my wallet. Like it's one of
It's
those.
hard to
If I was traveling and I lost everything except my phone, I'd be fine. Because I could still pay for everything, still contact people. But yeah, if you can't pick those three, like shit. Chapstick?
Yes, like my bike. That's usually what I'm leaving the house with. Like that falls into like the phone, wallet, keys kind of thing. I don't tote bags.
your
Going to the
glasses.
grocery store.
Glasses?
I can live without these. This is for like distance vision, or if I'm like in front of a computer for a long time.
A skip in your step?
Song in your
Star
heart.
in my pocket. Hopes
A
and
positive
dreams.
attitude.
And the friends we made along the way. All
Yeah,
right.
like a water bottle or something, I guess. Yeah, so I don't die.
I did mention I didn't want to go all night. Did you get a hold of Kevin there?
I did.
Okay.
I got some of the stuff.
Are we going to adapt this to everybody, or is it still just going to be me? Because that sounds boring.
No,
I'm boring as
no,
shit.
because these are the ones that you already heard, so that doesn't make sense. So I think what we'll do is, I'll pick. It looks like they're broken down in threes.
Bold
Possibly.
of you to assume I remember a single thing from Thursday.
Yeah, but still, you might. If you're like me, you might not remember it.
But as soon as I hear it, I will.
triggers it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a second then.
All right. So I'm trying to think. I also want to make sure that we ask the ones that would least likely know these ones. So, all right, I'm going to start with Gary. So basically, the premise of this game that Kevin had designed, um, it's real or fake, similar to like Two Truths and a Lie, except I'm gonna give features of something, and you have to determine whether or not it's real or fake.
Okay.
And I'll give them to you separately. All right. This small rodent is native to forested regions of Asia. It generates static electricity in its cheek pouches and can shock attackers. They use tail movements for communication and balance. This aquatic crustacean can shoot a bubble at 60 miles per hour that stuns foes and creates a sonic boom louder than a gunshot. This creature has had armor plates and will roll into a ball to increase his defense. They always give birth to identical quadruplets. So which one of those three is fake?
The electric mouse. That's Pikachu.
Do you know what the other animals are?
I'm guessing armadillo based on the rolling, and then the sea creature. I think it's a squid. Like they crack their beak.
I think I know it.
What do you think it is?
Mantis shrimp.
No, it
Is
is
that
a shrimp. It's a pistol shrimp.
Um,
Mantis shrimps, they punch.
Uh,
The pistol shrimp actually shoots a bubble out.
okay.
So that's like the same answer I was given last time. And we were thrown off by the armadillo last time too, because it says that it gives birth to identical quadruplets.
Yeah,
Apparently
that
that's a real
doesn't
thing.
sound real.
Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, this one will be for Joey. All right.
Eh.
This bird, the American
Wait,
Joey.
which Joey?
Okay.
Okay,
American Joey.
perfect.
This bird stands over 8 feet tall and is very intelligent and has formed a symbiotic relationship with elephants. This blind rodent lives in underground colonies ruled by a queen. These creatures are immune to most illnesses and have a high pain tolerance. This giant reptile has a venomous bite and chainmail-like armor. They frequently take down foes more than twice their size. Which one do you think is fake?
Well, I'm pretty sure that last one is a Komodo dragon, but I could be wrong. The middle one sounded like a mole rat, possibly. And I'm going to say that the first one was Big Bird, and I'm pretty sure Big Bird isn't a real bird, even though he's real in my heart.
That is 100% accurate on all fronts.
You guys are actually getting these better than me and Keith did.
Yeah. I'm also asking him a little bit different than Kevin did, because Kevin, would ask that to describe the features and then like give him a chance to like answer it. So like asking them all together, it's kind of giving you less time to even think about it. Plus, you might think about the other animal too. All right, so let's see. All right, Big Ryan, this will be the last one.
No,
this
you don't
small
want
but mighty creature. Huh?
Oh, you gave it a head shake. I was like, you don't want in? Like,
All right. This small but mighty creature has thick fur and tough but loose skin. It is immune to most poisons and antagonizes much larger predators for no apparent reason. A small, hairless nocturnal mammal in rural Central America. It preys on livestock by puncturing the neck and draining blood. And then it has a furry, waterproof body, a wide duck-like mouth, sharp venomous claws, and lays eggs. Which one's real and which one's fake?
Obviously, the last one's not real. That just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Keith.
Do they glow in the dark too?
What was the second one again?
A small, hairless nocturnal mammal in rural Central America. It preys on livestock by puncturing the neck and draining blood.
Okay. I guess the first one? Not be real?
The first one's fake?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one is real. and it's a honey badger.
Oh,
They're,
Second one,
they're
random.
dicks.
Sorry to interject, but the honey badger was actually the animal that I got O'Reilly Media to put on the book that I published about Hadoop security like 10 years ago.
Because honey badger don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect
Right.
for a security book.
Yeah. The second one is the chupacabra.
it is.
Oh. I was thinking like vampire bat or something.
No, vampire bats have hair. The chupacabra does not. Well, I mean, allegedly.
Did it say here?
Yeah.
Oh.
We all know the
What's the last
chupacabra is
one?
real.
Platypus.
Last one's the platypus.
They're still learning shit about those things. It's so funny that this podcast like introduced random people to the idea of a platypus, but they're still learning things that they didn't know about the platypus. Right? Like the bioluminescence was most recently discovered, and then like every once in a while I'll just be scrolling and I get this one guy and he'll just be like, "Oh, did you know this about platypus?" I'm like, "No, nobody knew that. Why do you know that?" Like that you're making it up as you go along. Anyway,
The platypus is a made up animal that just happens to be real.
yeah, like one day I've got to meet a platypus. I think this has to happen. I need to go out of my way to find and meet a platypus, and then
I
get
have seen one.
stung by its awful. Their stingers are in their butt, aren't they?
Their hind legs?
In their hind legs?
Flippers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flippers.
Just
Yeah, because their feet,
Perfectly
their feet
normal.
like are kind of like flipper. They're like,
Yeah,
I think they're webbed,
they're
and
webbed,
then they got a little barb like underneath it, and that's where the venom comes from.
like Assassin's Creed. Like these little fuckers are Assassin's Creed. Yeah,
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, those exist in real life. All right. Well, if anybody has anything else, we can wrap it up. If you guys want to keep chatting, we can keep chatting, but I'm out of ideas. I'm exhausted. I need to go touch my wife's butt. It's going to be great. They love that. No, that's a thing. Like if you didn't touch their butt, like one day, like I'll walk by and not touch it, and she's like, "Hey, I know I complained, but why did you do it this time? Like, why are you acting different?"
In honor of all the new gates, I think we should at least touch on this question.
Okay.
If you were in a trial by combat, what member of crew would you have fight for your freedom? So if you have a tag team champion or a partner of a crew member, who's going to be fighting alongside you?
Do
they have to be current?
I think that one was. I think that's more designed like Game of Thrones, where you're not going to fight; they're going to fight for you.
Okay, for your honor.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to answer that? I forget my answer from last time. I forget my answer. I think I said
say if they have to be. I would say if they don't have to be current, we're choosing Roe and Gabe, because after he's done with Strongman, he's going back to fighting.
Yep.
So
that's what I was gonna pick.
it's definitely going to be a win there.
I thought that was the layup.
I actually don't know, because I feel like a lot of crew are just like giant teddy bears, but at the same time, like bears are very protective too. So
Yeah.
who knows?
I know there's a couple of them that do like BJJ, but I also question how dangerous actually is BJJ outside of BJJ. Like I know it's that's not a challenge to anybody to tell me I'm wrong. I just like you watch a karate TV show or a karate movie or a karate tournament and you're like, yeah, that against anything else isn't effective, right? Does any crew do Krav Maga?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I wonder because I feel like that's the most dangerous of the hand-to-hand combats is Krav Maga.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so my answer is any crew that does Krav Maga or Tanner.
Does Tanner count as crew? Does he have a supporting membership? I don't think he does.
Oh, that's a good point. I think we've touched on this before. And I want to say Dodds, but he's not feeling good lately. But after being picked up and swung around like a rag doll by him, it's a scary, scary man. Maybe Keith could analyze somebody to death. right? Like that would be, please go fight for me and just tell them about all your bars.
Nate is an AI, so I assume that he can't actually be killed.
Yeah, so that would be a good challenge. Um,
I've got an answer that might be a little too serious, Goose.
I actually just
I
thought
would.
of one too. Go ahead.
Oh, well, mine was going to be I would pick myself because I don't want to see any fellow crew die for me.
Fair point.
Yep, I let that one hang there on purpose. I'm gonna say Murph because she's so LARP adjacent that she's got sword combat. And that's a kind of an honest answer. Like I think she's the only one I
That's
know
a
that
good
can swing
answer.
a sword with intent. So Murph, you're my trial by combat
Does
choice.
she get to fight with a sword award?
It has to be a sword award. Yeah. Sword award. This fucking fly, I'm gonna get this thing. Got you good, you fucker. Anyway.
Joey, you just timed that perfectly to my Discord notification sound, so it sounded like.
Nope. I Super Trooper referenced that one. All right. Anybody else have an answer for that?
Mm.
Maybe Big Tyler. He's just a big beast.
He's a strong dude. That's a good.
I don't want to face that.
And Gary's going to abstain.
I was thinking maybe Big Toby, Big Blue Eyes.
Actually, yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
What are you gonna call?
Depends if you're fighting emu or
see them,
not.
you're just gonna give up.
Yeah, I was
He's
going
gonna
to
get
bring
lost
up
in
the
his
emu
eyes.
too. He's chased down an emu. I'm not messing with that guy. All right, guys. I guess I got to do the affiliate codes before we go. Code unpaid at Obsidian, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, Home Gym Con, Bell-Fed Strength, Freedom Fitness Equipment, and the Strength Co. apparel. Keep in mind, some of those are crew only. Most of those should be crew only, except for Obsidian, Barbell Rescue, and Plate Snacks, and Home Gym Con. So the rest of those should be only crew. We don't necessarily get a kickback on all of them, but all of them have given us this opportunity to help save you guys money and just kind of, show support to fellow crew members. You can find me at Joey_Malesko, MLECZKO. Hey, fun thing, I might have my own affiliate code coming for somebody very soon. And I think if you guys all thought about it hard enough, you'd know who it is. I'm just waiting to get the approval of the code. We will not be advertising them on this podcast. That will be my own specific one because it might interfere with the sister podcast code. So
It's not Jägermeister.
I wish. I've been bugging those guys. I don't even want like a code. Just give me a Jägermeister lifting crew. Aaron figured it out pretty quick. Just give me the Jägermeister lifting crew. Give me a shirt that I can just sell to people or just like a logo or something. They've said I can do what I want. They've told me to go ahead, but I don't want to get into the realm of copyright infringement. And where do we find you guys? Start with you, Ryan.
Discord, big_Ryan. Instagram is Angry Monkey.
Joey.
I'm on Discord as Big American Joey, and on Instagram it's joey.echeverria, ECHEVERRIA. And if you forget that, it's pronounced exactly how it's spelled.
Is that Spanish, your last name?
It is. It's from the Basque region of Spain.
Yes, that's one of the greatest things of all the languages I have ever studied and read. Spanish, if it's there, you say it. There's no hidden letters. There's no hidden anything. There's a few accents, but like not, anything wild. If it's there, it's exactly as it's spelled. I love that about Spanish. English and French, German, not so much. But English and French, like we have so many hidden letters and annoying. Anyway, Gary, It's an interesting concept how many languages I have learned and forgotten in my life. Go ahead.
No hidden letters. Big Gary on Discord and NPC_Gary on Instagram.
My own name has hidden letters. Aaron, where do we find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at the No Wine Cellar and then also at Keith Honeycutt 73 on Instagram.
Yep. Keith here, by the way. Actually, one funny thing we did is we were sharing the notes with Kevin and Nate for last week's episode, and so the question I was asking was like, if you could have one hype person for any lift, who would that be? And Keith changed it to one crew member, right? So I kind of said no. I don't want this limited to crew because I don't want anybody's like feelings to be hurt in crew. Like I don't like the idea of singling out a crew member for any reason. I was like, but also like, let's go living, dead, famous, not famous. Like, who would that be? And then Kevin responded with Kevin, colon, I have a really good answer from the Lift Hard, Live Easy. And then I responded with Keith here, by the way. That's a great idea. And you know what? Nobody gave me kudos for that joke.
Those Keith here, by the way, posts got me every single time. They were just so hilarious.
Well, and you know, Ryan, I got to thank you for that because it was like, it started again, as I explained, where I just responded to somebody with something. And then they were like, but I thought you loved it. And I was like, oh, they think I'm Keith. So I just started saying, and then Keith responded by saying Keith here. So that's when I just started doing everything with Keith here, by the way. And then you posted that thing of me, right? With the skeleton me. And it just went from there. You're right. That was the most fun I've had in so long on social media, was being Keith here, by the way, where I very much assumed people realized I was not Keith. But Keith's main concern
Oh, it was obvious.
But his problem was he thought people would think it was him. And I was like, there's no way, man. The dumb shit that I was saying, there is, everybody went like, maybe they saw the first one and went, what's Keith doing? Then they saw the next one and was like, oh, that's Joey. Like every person would have guessed that. But yeah, God, I loved doing that. That was so much fun.
It said you were taking it over, so.
I know. I said that right away, too. Like, by the way, I'm taking this over.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next time I do with Keith here, by the way, weekend, I'll run it by Keith first because, again, don't want to hurt people's feelings. All right. And with that, I guess, honk honk.
Honk honk.
Honk honk.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we forgot to say see you next Tuesday.
3, 2, 1.
See you next
Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Honk honk.